I didn't sleep the first night. Not really. I closed my eyes, I laid still, I listened. But sleep never came, because every sound felt like a mistake waiting to happen. A car passing too slowly, footsteps outside the door, a voice in the hallway that didn't belong to anyone I knew. I kept thinking someone would knock. Not loudly, not urgently, just enough to let me know they were already inside my life. I didn't understand it yet, but crossing the border had rewired my body. Fear didn't turn off anymore. It stayed on, quiet, patient, waiting for proof that I was wrong to believe I was safe. They put us in a house that didn't feel like a house. It was too clean to feel lived in, too empty to feel real. White walls, thin curtains, no pictures, no personal objects, just mattresses on the floor and one table that had seen better days. This was supposed to be temporary. That word again, temporary. Everything in my life had become temporary. My name, my safety, my place in the world. The man who brought us there didn't stay long. He pointed at the bathroom, then the kitchen. "Don't open the door for anyone," he said. "Don't look outside too much, and don't ask how long you'll be here." Then he left, and the silence rushed in to replace him. I sat on the edge of the mattress and tried to feel something normal. Relief, happiness, pride, anything. But all I felt was the weight of what I had done. I had crossed the border, but I had also crossed something else, a line inside myself, and I didn't know how to cross back. There were 5 of us left. Rosa and her son, the man who never spoke, Carlos or Diego or whatever his name really was, and me. Nobody talked much. We didn't need to. We all knew the rules now. Talking meant attention. Attention meant risk. Still, silence does strange things to people. After a while, Carlos started whispering. Not to anyone in particular, just to fill the space. He talked about New York, about construction jobs, about cash paid under the table. He said he had cousins, then said he wasn't sure anymore. Rosa barely moved. Her son slept against her chest, his breathing shallow, but steady. I watched him longer than I should have. I kept thinking about the moment in the truck, about how close we came to leaving them behind, about how close I came to saying something, and how I didn't. That memory didn't feel sharp, it felt heavy, like something I would carry for a long time. Hours passed, or minutes. Time didn't work the same in that house. Eventually, the door opened again. A woman walked in. She looked like she belonged somewhere else. Clean clothes, confident posture, eyes that didn't hesitate. This was Ava. She didn't smile when she saw us. She nodded once, like she was counting. Then she spoke. "You made it this far. That doesn't mean you're safe." Her voice wasn't cruel. It was practiced. She explained the rules. No phones, no real names, no leaving alone. If someone asked questions, you didn't know anything. If someone knocked, you didn't answer. If something felt wrong, it probably was. I noticed how Rosa watched her, like someone watches a doctor, like this woman could decide if her son lived or died. Ava handed out clothes. Simple, plain, forgettable. She stopped in front of me. "What's your name?" she asked. I hesitated, just for a fraction of a second. She noticed. "Masha Rivers," I said. She held my gaze, then nodded. "Good," she said. "Don't lose her." I didn't know if that was advice or a warning. That night, Ava sat with me alone. The others were told to rest. She didn't ask me why I came. She didn't ask about my family. She didn't ask about my past. Instead, she said something that surprised me.
You think crossing was the hardest part. I didn't answer. You think surviving that truck made you strong, but strength doesn't matter here. She leaned back in her chair. What matters is control. Control of your mouth, your face, your choices. I asked her how long we would stay. She smiled, not kindly. As long as needed, she said. I asked her where we were. She shook her head. That's not useful information. I wanted to hate her, but I didn't, because she was calm, and calm meant experience. Experience meant survival. The next morning, Winston called. His face appeared on the screen like a ghost. He looked tired, older than I remembered. You're across. I nodded. He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. Good, he said. Now don't ruin it. He explained the next steps. Temporary work, temporary housing, temporary contacts. Everything temporary. I asked him if it ever stopped feeling like this. He didn't answer right away. It depends, he said finally, on how much of yourself you're willing to lose. When the call ended, I stared at the screen, at my reflection. I barely recognized the woman looking back. 2 days later, they split us up. Not dramatically, no speeches, no goodbyes, just quiet instructions. Rosa and her son left first. Ava hugged the child, not like a stranger, like someone who had done this many times before. Carlos left next, still talking, still smiling. The silent man was gone before I noticed. Then it was just me. Ava handed me a small bag. Inside were documents, fake, carefully made, convincing enough. You don't show these unless you have to, she said. And if someone doubts them, you stop talking. I nodded. She gave me an address, a job, a bus route. Then she looked at me carefully. You survived the crossing. That doesn't mean you know how to survive here. She paused. If you get scared, she added, get quiet. Fear makes people loud. Then she opened the door, and just like that, I was alone. The city didn't look the way I imagined. It wasn't loud all the time. It wasn't bright. It was busy in a tired way. People walking fast without looking up. Everyone had somewhere to be. No one had time to wonder who I was. That should have made me feel better. It didn't. Because being invisible isn't the same as being free. I took the bus like Ava told me. I counted stops, I avoided eye contact, I practiced my new name in my head. Masha Rivers. Masha Rivers. Each time it felt thinner, like a word losing meaning the more you say it. The job was cleaning. Offices, empty spaces after hours. No questions asked. Cash every Friday. The manager didn't care where I was from. He cared that I showed up. That was enough. At first, I learned how to disappear into routines. Work, bus, room. The room was small, shared with 2 other women I barely spoke to. They had their own stories, their own fears. We didn't trade details. Details were dangerous. At night, I lay awake again, listening. Always listening. I dreamed of doors. Doors opening, doors closing, doors I couldn't lock. One evening, on my way back, something happened. Nothing big, nothing dramatic, but it stayed with me. A police car slowed near the bus stop. Not for me, for someone else. Still, my heart reacted before my brain could. My hands shook, my breath shortened. I realized then how fragile my new life was. One wrong glance, one wrong word, one wrong pause. That's all it would take. I got home and sat on the bed without turning on the light. I thought about Rosa, about her son, about how close we all were to being left behind. I wondered where they were now, if they were safe, if safety even existed for people like us. That night, my phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize, a single message. Don't forget who helped you get here. No name, no explanation, just that. I stared at the screen for a long time because I understood immediately. Crossing wasn't something you finished. It was something that followed you, like a debt, like a shadow. I deleted the message, but the feeling stayed. In the days that followed, I started to notice things. How some people moved with confidence, how others watched exits.
How certain faces disappeared and were never mentioned again. This wasn't just a city, it was a system, and I was at the bottom of it. Ava called once, just to check. Still breathing? She asked. Yes, I said. Good, she replied. That means you're learning. She hung up. No goodbye. I didn't expect one. Weeks passed. I got better at pretending, better at smiling when needed, better at saying less. But something inside me was changing, hardening. The girl who thought crossing the border meant freedom was gone. In her place was someone more careful, more distant, someone who understood that survival wasn't about hope. It was about control, and control came at a cost. One night, as I walked home, I felt it again, that sense of being watched. Not obvious, subtle, like a presence just out of view. I didn't turn around. I kept walking, faster. When I reached my door, my hand shook so badly, I dropped my keys. I picked them up, unlocked the door, slipped inside, and locked it behind me. I leaned against the wall and slid down to the floor, breathing, listening. Nothing happened, but I knew something had shifted. The crossing was over, but the story wasn't, not even close, because now I wasn't just running towards something, I was running from everything I'd left behind, and from everything that was starting to notice me. I didn't know it yet, but the choices I made next would cost more than money, more than safety. They would cost parts of me I hadn't realized I still had, and once they would bond, there would be no border left to cross, only consequences. Watch the next episode.